Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you a really easy asparagus tart that would be perfect for any brunch, lunch, dinner, whatever you want to serve it for. It's delicious, really versatile. I will walk you through some of the versatility about it that you can swap out whatever you have. What I've got here is some puff pastry. If you don't have puff pastry, you can do this with pie crust. If you don't have store-bought pie crust, you can make your own pie crust really easily. So either way, you can use whatever you like and it will work. Right now, we are at a time where we really have to think about what we can do with what we already have without making any extra runs and trips to the store, right? So you don't have puff pastry? Fine, it's fine, just use pie crust. Make pie crust. It's easy and simple. What I've done is I've just took my my piece of puff pastry, my sheet of puff pastry I should say, thawed completely. I rolled it out so it's a little bit like about 1 inch bigger on all sides. I'm gonna just take this. My oven's preheated to 400 by the way. I'm placing it on my parchment paper on a baking sheet. Before I work any further on that, let me show you what I've got going on here. What I have here is a spreadable garlic and herb cheese. I like to use the Alouette brand. I also like the Boursin brand. Both of those, I've done this with both of those and they both work out really phenomenal. But if you want to use like an herb cream cheese, or I wouldn't do a ricotta because ricotta is really watery, so it could make this really thin unless you strained it overnight, which you can do through a coffee filter and a sieve, right? You put your ricotta, you put a coffee filter in a sieve, put your ricotta in there, lightly cover it over a bowl in the fridge overnight, and all the excess liquid will dry, go out, will drain out of it, and then you can work with that. I always have one of these cheeses, either the Boursin or the Alouette on hand because Joe loves it with pita. To it, I've got some freshly grated Parm. I want this to be a little bit more spreadable, so I like to add a little bit of heavy cream. If you don't have heavy cream, use milk. I mean, it's very simple. I'm using asparagus. I love this with asparagus, but what you can do is you can use halved cherry tomatoes. You can use sauteed mushrooms. You can use green beans, but you'd have to cook the green beans a little bit first because they're a little bit harder to cook because this is going to cook in like 20 minutes. You can use broccoli. You can use whatever your heart desires. Just make it work. I'm just adding enough heavy cream, just a couple tablespoons to make this a little bit more spreadable. I do this a little bit at a time so that I don't have like a giant clump. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to just pierce and leave a border. I'm going to leave about half an inch on all sides so that it can puff up around the filling. All right, so now you just take this mixture, right? I use the back of my spoon. You could use whatever. You can use a different knife, but I'm the one doing the dishes around here, and I want to keep it easy. I'm just gonna go ahead and just do a little smear action, just making sure that I don't go on the border. Now you just take your asparagus, make sure that you've trimmed them. I rinsed them and I made sure to just pat them dry as much as possible. And then you're just going to make a row of asparagus. Then you just do a thin drizzle of olive oil on your asparagus. Hey, they want to have flavor too. They came to the party, they want flavor. A pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper. Okay, and then I just take a pastry brush with a little bit of egg wash, which is just 1 egg beaten with a touch of cream in this case because I just had it out for when I had to mix it with the cheese, but you can use milk, you could use water. Boom. And this just goes in a 400-degree oven for about 20-ish minutes. And then I will show you what it looks like when it's done. And it is just simple and it's easy and it's delicious and it's not heavy. It's just perfect for brunch, perfect for lunch with a mixed green salad, a little avocado if you have it, and it's literally dreamy. So I'm gonna do this and then when it's done, I will show you what it looks like. My tart was in the oven for exactly 20 minutes at 400. I let it cool for a bit on a wire rack. It's gorgeous, it's delicious, it's versatile. I'm a fan, you guys. I am a fan. It's just thin, and as it cools, it will like set even more, but I'm telling you, that spreadable herbs cheese situation makes this so dynamite with the puff pastry. Oh, it's so good, especially when the asparagus are really thin and they roast and crisp up a little bit at the tips. I'm savage when I eat. I'm not a pretty eater. Don't look at me right now. Delicious. Go to LauraInTheKitchen.com for the recipe. That is so good. The recipe's there. You're gonna love it. Bye.